extreme tantrums. Her mum and dad worked very hard and came home terribly tired each evening. They wanted nothing more than a quiet night, and if it was bath night, then all they got was a screaming nightmare. Cherry simply hated being clean, right from the start. As a small child, she would cling to the towel rail to avoid her bath, shrieking the house down. When her parents tried to give her showers instead, she would swing like Spider-Man from the showerhead and pull it off the wall. Even a trip to the swimming baths would end in disaster, as Cherry knew there was one sure way to escape a dip. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. What a revolting little toad she was. The older she got, the worse the problem became. "Wash your face for school, Cherry," her mum would say. Cherry would immediately charge about like a ferret on fire, wrestling with every sink in the house before she was worn out enough for Mum to grab her with a sponge. "Did you wash your hands for supper?" Cherry's dad would ask. Cherry would immediately thump him with the nearest blunt instrument and throw heavy objects through the bathroom window before Mum got lucky with a hand sanitizer. "It's just a phase she's going through," Mr. Oddfellow reckoned fondly, rubbing his jaw. The final straw that broke the very mucky camel's back arrived, as I mentioned earlier, 3 years, 2 months, and 28 days ago. "Cherry," said Mrs. Oddfellow one Friday afternoon, "we thought we might take a little holiday, a city break." "Where?" Cherry demanded. "Why, in the delightful county of Somerset," Mr. Oddfellow said brightly. "Somerset?" Cherry's mud-brown eyes narrowed in suspicion. "Whereabouts in Somerset?" Well," Mr. Oddfellow gulped, "we were thinking about the fine city of Bath." "Bath!" With a wailing war cry, Cherry ran outside and started biting the car tires to cause multiple punctures. Her dad had to jet wash her with a patio cleaner to make her stop. Little did he know that this was to be the last dip in water she would have for years. Screaming and spluttering, Cherry fled inside the house, swallowed the car keys, and barricaded herself in her bedroom so no one could take her anywhere. This was the regrettable day Mr. and Mrs. Oddfellow had to face facts. They simply did not possess the patience, strength, and stamina required to keep their growing daughter in the same room as a loofah long enough for any real cleaning to occur. And so they took that dread decision to wash their hands of washing their daughter. They wrote a note to school explaining that Cherry was allergic to being clean. Could she please be excused showers after PE? They also supplied the name of a firm that made cheap clothes pegs and advised all teachers to keep a window open in the classroom for the safety of Cherry's fellow pupils. "It won't be for long," said Mrs. Oddfellow. "It's just that silly, longer-than-expected phase she's still going through." Mr. Oddfellow nodded. "When she really starts to pong, she'll be bathing again. Just you wait." Well, the Oddfellows did wait. But did Cherry change her mind? She did not. Refusing to wash or bathe or even rinse her hands, she gradually became more and more engrimed with mud and dirt. Her parents learned to ignore it and stuffed earplugs up their noses to stop the stink. The closest Cherry ever came to a shower was when she was caught in the rain. Then you could see the mud trickling down her face from her filthy red hair. Did I say red? Once it was that beautiful colour. But since she never washed it or brushed it, it became a thick thatch of dirt, dust, and straw. Weeds began to grow in it. A crow mistook it for an empty nest and moved right in. Cherry didn't shoo it away. She was glad of the company, since her friends no longer went near for fear of passing out from the pong. Her parents were appalled. "A crow!" cried Mrs. Oddfellow. "In her hair!" Mr. Oddfellow sank a little further into his newspaper. "I'm sure they're all the rage with young people these days." The crow